Virtually every student that we see, with very, very few exceptions, TLP is recommended as a part of their program because it supports all levels of the continuum, and it really supports everything we're doing. And I want to talk a little bit more about the frequencies, because the brain can process this wide range of frequencies. Some of them we're not even aware of, but they impact our system and our functioning. And so those low frequencies, we call them the body sounds. They are grounding and centering and regulating and organizing. And so when we're doing core learning skills, the low frequency work in TLP is supporting all of what we're doing with trying to integrate reflexes and settle the system and organize the body for attention and body control. So we feel like that's a really important piece of it. We know that the exercises that we're doing are really impactful. As soon as we put that low frequency training in there, it just boosts up everything that we're doing. So it's really important. Then the mid-range frequencies are really the language sounds. Most of our speech sounds are in the mid-range. If you can imagine, let's say your brain couldn't process the s sound. Well, now think about what it would sound like to listen, and you're not ever hearing the S sound in words because you're not processing that frequency. Well, then, yeah, you're getting a lot of the information, but it's not real clear. It's not always accurate. And so many students who struggle with learning actually have a language-based learning challenge or learning disability. So working with getting the brain to process all of the frequencies in that communication language mid-range zone is really important, because now the brain can hear the sounds. Now the sounds are going to make sense for reading and spelling, for better articulation and communication, for comprehension. It's a huge part of what we do. We do auditory stimulation and training, which uses TLP as a passive listening to stimulate the brain to be able to process the sounds. And then we do an active auditory training where, now that the brain can process those sounds, we want to get those frequencies into the voice so that the voice then becomes the ongoing stimulus for the auditory system. And in that process, we're developing reading, language processing, comprehension, articulation, intonation, all kinds of things that are critical for learning and communication. And then the high frequency sounds are really like our energizers. They stimulate executive function, those high level skills, and provide the energy to our brain for motivation and getting going with things and keeping going and being confident and keeping up our energy for learning. So because of how TLP is constructed and all that frequency training, it supports every single thing we're doing, and it's stimulating the brain in a way that we can't do just with movement or words or really, really good teaching.